Hey Flower Tribe, it's Kelly Lehman from Cranberry Fields Flower Farm. And I wanted to show you some of my favorite varieties of hydrangea. I have to say that I think hydrangeas and peonies are my absolute favorite flowers. It's kind of like a tie score between them. But I want to show you some of my favorite hydrangea varieties that I grow here at Cranberry Fields Flower Farm. And know that there are a load of different types of hydrangeas, and some of them grow better in different planting zones. Like Limelight hydrangea can take a lot of full sun, whereas I know a lot of lace cap hydrangeas would prefer some partial shade. So when you're choosing plants for your garden, take a look at which varieties prefer the type of setting that you have in your own backyards. So let's cover some of these beautiful hydrangeas that I love, and then I grow back here. And then the next video, I'm going to show you how to plant them. And the thing is, the planting style that I use for most of my hydrangeas is the same. So I'm going to show you the who's who of the hydrangeas that we have back here. And then the next video is going to show you how to pop them in the ground super easy. And we're going to take a walk over here now to my Annabelles. Come on, let's go. So these are my Annabelle hydrangeas, and I love these gals too because they bloom on what's called new growth. So these gals came in on these stems that were put in place this spring. So it's okay to prune her back. A lot of people will prune back Annabelle hydrangeas or Incrediball hydrangeas, which are very similar. They'll prune them back early spring or the end of winter to about 2 feet. And then they get these big, giant, colossal white flower heads that are larger than this. And I'll tell you why my flower heads aren't as large as if I would have pruned them back. I don't prune mine back, so that means I get a smaller, delicate head, but I have a stronger structure inside the plant of all these wooded stems that were put in place last year. And this means that when the rain hits my Annabelle hydrangeas, they don't flap to the ground because the flower heads aren't quite as big and the stems are a little more sturdy. So you can either prune back an Annabelle if you want to get those bigger flower heads, or not and get the smaller flower heads but a little more sturdiness. So that's the story with Annabelle. And these guys are also going to dry out to a gorgeous green by the end of fall. And they make for a great dry cut flower. So keep that in mind with your Annabelle hydrangea. They're a super no fuss, come back every year plant for me here at Cranberry Fields. So that's the Annabelle story. I love my Annabelle hydrangea. I've been growing them for over a decade, but I have to say I just started growing Incrediball hydrangea from Proven Winners, and it's a very similar look to Annabelle. However, they have sturdier stems, so they don't flop over quite as easy. So this is a very young plant. This plant's only a few months in the ground. So it was a super small plant. It's growing very fast, and I'm really happy with its progress, but eventually it's going to wind up looking like my Annabelle hydrangea with those big, beautiful, white, fluffy blossoms that turn green, but the stems are much sturdier. So this is just another great option for your garden. Come on, Lucy, we gotta go over to the Endless Summer now. Come on, girl. These gals are called Endless Summer, and I love Endless Summer because they come in on the old growth. So they have like the wooded stems that were put in place last summer. Then they have the new growth that came in this spring, and then they bloomed in the summer. But once these gals have all kind of petered out, I get a second explosion of blooms from new growth, which comes in on these brand new stems that come in from the base, kind of like the Annabelles. So this is a terrific plant because you have 2 sets of blooms that give you an endless supply of flowers all summer long. So this is one of my top picks, and these guys are usually not too fussy. I have them planted in morning sun, and then they get afternoon shade, and I make sure they have enough water, but I make sure that I don't overwater. So you can check out some of our videos on watering and things like that. Endless Summer are the types of hydrangeas that you can change color. So if you change the alkalinity of the soil, you can kind of alter the color to either a blue or a purple or a pink. So that's kind of a fun fact for Endless Summer. And the last hydrangea that I want to tell you about is Limelight. And I love Limelight hydrangea because they come back year after year. They love full sun, and they make for a beautiful dried cut flower in fall. This is what my Limelight hydrangea look like towards the end of September. The blooms are gigantic. Some of them are like between 12 and 18 inches long, and they're just, you know, just spectacular, so vibrant. And these are actually dried out. So the stems that you're seeing now in the back of my golf cart dried on the plant. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to wind up making a whole bunch of dried flower arrangements out of them. So this plant's probably about, I guess, about 10 years old. It's really, really tall, and it takes up a huge spot in my garden. So just make sure that you have enough space in your garden. But there's also a plant called Little Lime that's a smaller version of the regular Limelight, and that's more of a compact growing Limelight hydrangea. And I just wanted to show you very quickly what one of these arrangements looks like. This is what Limelight hydrangea look like in an arrangement. So they dry out beautifully. They have these deep greens and some green mixed with some maroon on the fall blooms, and these are all dried out. So once this arrangement is made, it's actually going to dry out and look very similar to this a few months later. It's going to get fade a little bit in color, but for the most part, you're going to have these beautiful giant Limelight hydrangea blooms that you can then have as a dried flower arrangement. And you don't have to worry too much about that winter kill. They come in on new growth, and they're just really low maintenance, and they're just a very dependable hydrangea to come back year after year. Thank you so much for joining us in this video, and please say hi to us over on my Cranberry Fields Instagram page. You can also find us on TikTok, and I made a whole bunch of podcasts for you. You can find those wherever you listen to your podcast. And please also let me know where you're viewing this from in this great, big, beautiful world. I love to see how our flower tribe is growing around the globe each week. Also check out our Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe Facebook group, because there's thousands of gardeners from all over the world, and they're asking and answering loads of garden questions over there. And know that YouTube has allowed me to have a super thanks button attached to this channel. And if you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee or let us know if you appreciate these videos, that would be terrific. Or you could just give us a like or a comment below. I would appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video.